سلام بچه سلام بچه خوش اومدی. Welcome to this Monday stream of Las Plumas de Simurg. Guys, you know the drill. Confirmation that you can hear me, confirmation that you can see me, and hello Claire, hello BDBs, and that nothing is doing, you know, fun stuff, because once more here we have the messages. I'm receiving messages from the other side. How are you, Butcher? How did your week start? We can hear you and see you. No problem, not skip frames, nothing like, hello, oh, hello, ornament, should I call you? I'm so happy you're here today. Splendido splendente. Thank you, Kiwi, for that shout. You know, just let me finishing some finishing touches. Oh, let me know, Butcher, how was your week? And hello Typhoon, so good to see you here. I've missed you. How was your weekend? I'm really sorry, I'm gonna ask this again because I genuinely cannot see it. Am I on Focus at me? And that is by Ariana Grande, which, by the way, recently released a new album. Not a new album, at least a new music video, and there's like loads of references in that video. My friends in the 8th Historian, they did something very cool with it. They did like an analysis. Oh, and for some reason, yeah, oh, it looks good in the hood. Oh, it looks fine. So yeah, let me see now. But you're very bright. I know I'm very bright. That is because I have mul right over here. Hello, quad vult there. That is Latin, and I cannot speak Latin to save my life. So I don't even know what quad means. Really sorry. We specialize in a different area here, but yeah. Hoş omadi, welcome to the stream of Las Plumas de Simur. Today is the English session because it is Monday. Miss you too. My weekend was busy as usual. I can't see you clearly. Thank you so much, Typhoon. I'm happy you're back. So, if this is the first time you come across this thing of Las Plumas de Simur, welcome. My name is Plumas and I'm going to be your host in the show, as some of my friends call it. I wish I had a show, but nah, not really. Yeah, in this channel we talk about mythology, we talk about art, history, we talk about religion, we talk about loads of things, focus on two main things, which are Iran and Mesopotamia. And today the earth is crumbling. Can you feel the scenery heating up? Because the demons are indeed coming to greet us this evening. Today I am terrible with this evening thing. I'm a Mediterranean person. We don't do evening there, at least not in my house. So yeah, Aaron says it's evening. I'll go with that because I trust Aaron. He's my secretary. And yeah. So thank you so much for all the people who's clicked follow on the channel, and thank you so much to all the people who subscribe to it. You help me greatly, and the family is growing. I cannot express enough how happy I am to see that everything, I don't know, to see the improvement and the trajectory of this. It's very pleasing. It's very uplifting. So for that I am grateful. Thank you. As I am grateful to my fantastic, my dear patrons. Thank you to my patrons, especially those of tier Murshid and tier Ajdad, who just had some extra content released today. Do you want to get access to behind the scenes, extra content, or early access content? Make sure you support us on Patreon. Patreon/Las Plumas de Simur. You cannot miss it. There's only one Simur in Patreon, and that is us. It is I. What are we drinking today? What do we have in the menu, in the drink it menu? Because again, if you're new here, you don't know this, but the most important part of my stream is not what I'm saying, is the tea that I am drinking. And for today, I have actually a selection. I'm not gonna drink this because it's boiling hot, straight out of the heater, straight out of the kettle, because I was running a little bit late because I might have been speaking a little too much with a little person. So today we have a smoked, this is called Sloe-Jin Lapsang. I don't know if you are familiar with teas, but Lapsang Shuchong is a kind of smoked tea, and it smells like smoke very much. I don't like it by itself, but this mixture, I have to say, I am quite content about it. And it has Sri Lankan black tea, which is always a must and always a win. Yes, yes, yes. Oh my god, Nancy's here! Hello, Nancy! God, butcher, right now, leave everything you're doing. The tea does not matter anymore. Nancy Nano is on my stream. Bless, hashtag dying, trying to breathe. She is an amazing 3D artist, which is doing this reconstruction of an Mesopotamian Assyrian architecture, and it's gonna blow up your head. So go follow Nancy. Please, do yourself a favor, butcher. And go follow Nancy right this instant. It's just like, I am thrilled. What was I saying? Oh yeah, the tea. I love doing this to the mic. I don't know if you like it or not, but no one's complained so far. So yeah, thank you so much for being here, Nancy. I am legit excited. So yeah, the tea that I'm drinking today has Sri Lankan black tea, which, as I say, is a must. And then we have Chinese Lapsang Souchong black tea, which is this smoky, powerful tea, elderberries and ginger. This is like a again Monday. Woohoo! This is like a very smoky, warm, yet kind of refreshing because of the ginger tea, and I'm surprised about it. And again, I'm not gonna take a sip because I'm gonna burn my tongue. Oh. It's very nice. It's very nice. So yeah. All right, who's ready? Who's ready for chaos? Who's here for the chaos? I'm here for the chaos. Welcome. Today we are gonna talk about the one that's possibly my favorite creature from Iranian mythology, and that creature is Azhi Dahāka. Azhi Dahāka is the creature Dahāka is based on. I don't know if you're following the streams that I am doing on the Book of Kings, on the Shahnameh. If you are, you know, and you're up to date, of course, you know already who Dahāka is. And I'm not gonna hide, I never do. I'm not gonna hide that Dahāka is my favorite character inside the Shahnameh. Of course, excluding Simurgh, as always. Excluding Simurgh, of course. But Dahāka is my favorite character, and I mentioned that Dahāka was based on a previous creature who was terrifying, violent, and evil, and that is Azhi Dahāka. Dahāka, that was very profound. Azhi Dahāka is the creature Dahāka was based on, and I thought to myself, why not dedicating a whole stream to talk about this magnificent creature? Because I love snakes, and yeah, this is, as you saw in the title, which I don't know where it is. I'm reckoning it's here. I know, and this is a Serpent-Demon, and I love snakes, but I am aware, this is the Internet of Things, and some precautions need to be taken. This is a disclaimer to myself. If you suffer from ophidiophobia, which is fear to snakes, an irrational fear to snakes, like leave right now, because a lot of pictures of snakes are gonna be shown. A lot. I love snakes. I think they're beautiful. I think they're majestic, powerful, and terrifying. And because we don't have images of Azhi Dahāka, I'm gonna use snake pictures. So if you're okay with that, that's as much as I have to say. And if you are not okay with that, I am kindly asking you to just switch off, because you're not gonna have a good time. Because again, a lot of snakes are gonna be shown, which is, in my case, not a problem. I had such a good time researching for the images, because I wanted to, yeah, I mean, some people left. You take care of yourselves, guys. Yeah, phobias are something we all should respect, because one thing is being scared of, and the other thing is having a phobia. It's very different, and we need to be understanding, and we need to be caring about that. So, yeah, I'm gonna talk about the magnificent creature that is Azhi Dahāka. And who's excited? I am excited. I am very excited. I did the disclaimer already. I mentioned the tea, the patron thing, the follow. But am I forgetting something? I don't think I am. I just want to take a sip of tea. This is gonna be a bad idea. Okay, not that bad idea. It's a very nice tea. It's a very nice tea. Yeah. one day we need to make like a public campaign and bomb with messages the people, the lovely people from Bird and Blend to ask for sponsorship to Las Plumas, because I basically drink all the, I basically drink everything from them. And that de Europa, love you dear, but I might die if I watch this stream until the end. I know, that's, you are one of the people I'm thinking of. I know you're not a fan, so just if you just want to hear it, just put like down the screen or something. This is one of my best friends, by the way. Oh, my glasses. I'm not, if you're typing something right now, I cannot read it because I am as blind as a bat. It's actually Nancy. Love snakes. I am creating a snake motif for the center of the mosaic in my scene. Not exactly proven to be Assyrian, but no proven that it's not. I have no clues, but I have no doubts. Right, Nancy? All right, let's jump into it. Exciting. So, Azhi Dahāka is one of the most frightening, yet one of the most famous demons in Iranian mythology. Such is his influence that even nowadays there exist many references in popular art, in folklore and the universe of fantasy, since as many other dragons and monsters, the attraction Azhi Dahāka exerts, it's really powerful. But who is truly this creature? And what is the information remaining of him? We will find out in this stream. The obscure and terrifying figure of Azhi Dahāka. My favorite Christmas adornment says, I mean, if a snake can be scary, if it's also a demon, it is kind of the most horrifying thing ever. Exactly. Ain't that fantastic? Ain't that fantastic? I'm so driven. But first and foremost, we need to answer a question. Does Zoroastrianism and Avesta consider the existence of dragons as Western mythology depicts them? In fact, they do, but not as traditional European folklore shaped the dragons. Oh, that is Virago. Oh, Virago, I'm so happy to see you here. Look at this magnificent creature, this beauty. I don't know how many times I've used this image. This is not an Iranian manuscript. This was made in India, in Mughal India, which is a Persianate dynasty. It was made for the Mughal Emperor Akbar around 1577, if I'm not mistaken, but you know, I'm terrible with dates. But this is a dragon, and yeah, the idea of a dragon, they're very close to other beautiful dragons. Yeah, dragons. What do I always say, Butcher? What do I always say? The dragons make everything better. Absolutely everything is better with a dragon on it. This is the hill, one of the many hills I will die on. So, as I was saying, the word we have in Avestan language to refer to these creatures is Azhi, spelled A-Z-H-I. That comes from, apparently, from Indian ahi, and both terms originally meant snake. In referring to creatures of a demonic nature and evil behavior, the concept could be translated as dragon in the sense that alludes to a monstrous supernatural being. Caution is required, Bacha, when managing different mythologies from another cultural perspectives, as traditional studies tend to state equivalence between the East and the West, and that misunderstands concepts. And such is the case of the Azhis, that could be taken as dragons if it is understood they were terrible, outrageous snakes. In fact, they do not have wings, they do not spit fire from their mouth, but they are poisonous. Very scary, those things. So just be careful. I cannot insist on this enough. Be careful when you're addressing different mythologies from different backgrounds, or when you study in different areas that are not the ones we used to. We cannot help but have our own constructs in our minds, if you know what I mean, but we should understand each creature in its context. Context is the most important word of them all. My students are fed up with me saying context is the most important thing you need to learn. But that is true, because if we do not look at the whole picture, we can miss things. And for example, understand, because if this is a dragon, then for sure it flies and spits fire and has wings and all those shenanigans, which in fact, no, I'm gonna take this one down because this is not a good example. I just wanted to have an excuse to use that dragon, actually, because I love it. I love that picture of a dragon. But yeah, what I mean is that we are missing out things if we take only a side of what we're actually studying. And because the things are similar, they could be similar in concept, of course, but still, we are gonna still use the term serpent or dragon. But are you following me? Stay with me. I want to make sure that we're all on the same page when talking about dragons. These do not spit fire. These do not have wings. They're venomous, monstrous snakes. Serpents. Oh, I'm excited. So I'm pretty sure you got what I mean. So apparently the word Azhi was taken from India, and there was an original myth of a serpent-demon, of an evil serpent that traveled to Iran as part of a common Indo-Iranian background and Indo-Iranian mythology. And there are some other examples and other legends of dragon-slaying heroes, because sometimes we don't know the dragons as the protagonists of the tale, but because they are the foe, the nemesis of a powerful hero and a protagonist. So, for example, such is the case of Merodach, which is a dragon hunter. But the most similar resemblance of what Zoroastrianism consider Azhis is found inside the Vedic tale of the confrontation of Indra and Virta, or Virta. I am not sure how to pronounce that word. I'm really sorry, people from Indian studies, I'm trying my best. But that appears to be the main reference for what traveled to Iran as the idea of a dragon in a tale which is described, hold on to your seat, the Great Sky War. The epicness. This deserves a saber team. The epicness. So yeah, in this Great Sky War, Indra, which is the thunder god and head of the Vedic pantheon, he marched against Virta, who kept imprisoned the primordial waters in caves inside a mountain. And by slicing the head of the Serpent-Demon, those waters were released and creation took place. Ain't that amazing? I know a dragon slayer, but it's a sword, not the man who uses it. It serves the same purpose, be that good. So, the story of Indra and Virta was transferred to the cosmological thought of Iran, although including some modifications, of course. Some scholars say that despite the dragon slaying myths are common to India and to Iran, they developed differently and separately. Do you remember when we did the stream about Zoroastrianism that we spoke about Indo-Iranian people that came together to Eurasian steppe, and then some of them moved to Punjab and some of them moved to the Iranian plateau, and there, even if there was a basic cult behind and a shared heritage, they tend to go separate ways, and finally they separated in different cults and different religions, one of them originating Zoroastrianism. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I invite you to go over the stream of Zoroastrianism we made, I think it was 2 weeks ago, a week ago, I don't know, it's somewhere. It is somewhere, I promise. By the way, I haven't mentioned this, but because I am asked, if you want to find all the videos, we can actually have a browse through the Twitch channel, or if it's easier for you, go to my Twitter, and the pinned tweet on my profile has a massive thread with all the videos, all the streams we've made, and basically all the shebangs, as a friend of mine says. So yeah, as I was saying, these stories of dragon killing and heroes smiting powerful dragons went separate ways. And the Vedic stories, for example, they are started by humans charging towards demons and not by gods. And it does happen. That happens in Vedic texts. The myth of the releasing of the waters had its place as well in the Zoroastrian world, but in the case of Zoroastrian tale, it was the star Tishtriya or Tishtar, and it was a fight between the star Tishtriya, which is Sirius, the star Sirius, and demon Apausha, and they battled for an eternity, for the liberation of the creation ocean named Borukasha at the peak of Mountain Haraberezaiti. And this myth, by the way, can be encountered in the Tir Yasht. Oh my gosh, Plumas, how many odd words can you say in just 1 minute? A lot. So basically, the main difference is that the Vedic texts normally tend to have humans as the protagonists. Humans or demigods confront dragons and serpents, evil serpents. However, in Iranian mythology, gods and deities, and in this case I'm mentioning Yazatas, go watch the Zoroastrian stream if you don't know what I'm talking about. These Yazatas are the ones who confronted Daevas, or obscure beings, and yeah. And one of the main demon, the main monster that was fought is called Apaosha. And it's called, the battle is called the Battle of Creation or something like that, because the same that happened in India, this creature was kind of hoarding all the waters, imprisoned in the mountain Haraberezaiti, which is like the Axis Mundi. One day we're going to do a stream on sacred mountains because I want to. And yeah, the god came to the mountain, battle the monster, slay the monster, cut off his head, and boom! The waters were released and creation happened. Ta-da! But yeah, nevertheless, and because Apaosha was not exactly an Azhi, which is a dragon, which is a snake, in spite of these episodes, Azhis normally do not appear linked to water in Iranian mythology, but to drought. And sometimes they dwell by the rivers. It's very interesting because they're so dual. You can see the dual character of Azhis throughout the Avestan texts and through the Zoroastrian mythology. Sometimes they drought, normally they drought, but sometimes they dwell by the rivers. And there's only one, which is called Gandharb. Gandharb does dwell inside the same river, which is a little bit strange, but yeah. So dragons in Zoroastrianism are materially like the big, huge monsters with ravenous appetites by men and horses. They like to eat horses, and they are presented in this dual universes religion where everything has a counterpart as the evil creation. The dragons, the Azhis, are the antagonists of all the beings, resulting from the true side, the side of the light, which, if you remember, is Ahura Mazda. So, this is a brief introduction or on what dragons or serpents can be considered in Zoroastrian mythology. Now, let's talk about Azhi Dahāka, because was this character a serpent? Was this character a monster? Or was this character a man? Remember, this is where Dahāka comes from, and Dahāka was human, at least on the outside, if you know what I'm saying. Go watch the show Number History if you don't know what I'm talking about. Spam. I don't have a community manager. This is my only deal. So, despite Azhi Dahāka is included inside the species of Azhis normally, they are described with quite similar appearance and the same kind of creature. I mean, an Azhi is always an Azhi, but sources, Zoroastrian sources, can give some interesting details about the looks of particular characters. And for example, this is where the first picture comes in. I am excited. Look at this cutie! Look how I love it. This is not a photo montage. This is a real bloody serpent. This is a real snake. And this one is a horned viper, and it lives in the west area of Iran and in some areas of the Arabian Peninsula. And look at it. Isn't this amazing? I'm just in awe. I am just in awe at nature. This is precious. This is so pretty. Look at the tiny tongue. Does it have horns? Yes, Nancy, it does. Those things are horns, are tiny horns. this is the reason for her name being the Viper. Yeah. For example, I was saying that some sources give us some particular characteristics about the dragons, and this is the case of Zurubara. Zurubara is another Azhi who is said to be yellow-colored. I didn't have any yellow serpent, horned and capable of spitting poison from its speared fangs. It's beautiful. So yeah, the deal here is that even though an Azhi is described as an Azhi, kind of cute, but I don't know why. Because it's super cute. It is. Come on, guys, Butcha. It is adorable. Look at those eyes. They are perfect killing machines. I am in awe. I mean, I could spend the rest of the stream just staring at this picture on the screen. Thank you so much, Nancy, for your subscription. Oh my God, here we have Reaper. Dance, Reaper, dance off. Yes. Thank you so much for your subscription. I really know. Oh my God, thank you so much. Oh my God, you guys are just do said Doram. I love you. Oh, thank you so much. I'm cannot butcher. I cannot express enough how driven I am that Nancy's here. Nancy just subscribed. Nancy is commenting. Nancy just followed. I'm gonna die at some point. If I just faint, remember me dearly. Say I die as a hero. So yeah, the thing with the text is that sometimes they explain things about, yeah, an Azhi appeared and we need to understand that it's just a monstrous serpent. But sometimes texts get creative, very creative. In the case of Zurubara, they talk about its appetite and how it could spit poison from the speared fangs. I was going to say hangs. The spear fangs. So yeah. And then we have Azhi Dahāka. I'm really sorry. These are very similar pictures, but this is a fantastic picture by Mark Kostick, and I am fascinated at this painting. I'm so sorry, Butcher. I'm so used to work with painting that yeah, this is a picture. Again, all the credit to the artist, Mark Kostick. All credit to him, all of it. Yeah, and now let's talk a little bit about my pal, about my friend Azhi Dahāka. Yes. Oh, just wait for a moment, Butcher. I have a message. Is everything okay? Because is everything all right? Because my computer and Streamlabs is sending me a message. Can you see me? Can you hear me? All good? Yeah? Okay, this is odd. Yeah, seems good. Okay. So yeah. Believe I told you, guys, I'm given trigger warnings because of a reason, so you can hear me and see me. Okay, so according to mythology, Azhi Dahāka has 3 heads and 3 jaws and 6 eyes, what common sense associates to be 2 per each head. I mean, each head has a jaw and 2 eyes and horns. And Angra Mainyu, which is the dark spirit himself, created Azhi Dahāka from the darkest and most terrible of the Druch, which is this dark energy that contrasts the Asha, which is the truth and the revelation. So yeah, Angra Mainyu created Azhi Dahāka to spread terror and burn to ashes the sanctuaries of Ahura Mazda. And that could give us a certain relationship with fire, but we're not sure. And Azhi Dahāka is described as cunning with 1,000 vials inside itself and terrifying. And generally, it does not only possess animal traits, but it is privileged with human intellect. And this has led to consider the truly nature of the body of Azhi Dahāka, as the latest text then will evolve and reference Dahāk or Zahak as a monstrous man and not as a dragon. So this is very interesting, and definitely this is from where Ferdowsi took the reference when he was writing the Book of Kings. Some scholars describe this as an example of mythologized history or historicized mythology, because contrasting the information about Azhi Dahāka, it is not clear enough if it is a man in a serpent shape or a serpent in a human shape. We don't know for sure. The Avestan text, I mean the most ancient text, lean towards the most monstrous form, while the Pahlavi text that came later, they blur slowly this idea to leave the character as a man, and the serpent-like creature would be a metaphorical allusion to his demoniac sense and this demonic presence. And some linguistic comparisons have been made, of course, and following some of the theories, the epithet, this epithet Dahāka could be translated as man-like, so that would lead to a kind of a humanoid serpent or a snake, and we just don't know. What is that, Viragot? With this photo, I totally understand why snake eyes are said to hypnotize. This is hypnotic. This is hypnotic. But the deal with Azhi Dahāka is that we don't know. We don't know if this was some of the conclusions that could be drawn as well is that it was a creature that could change shape, that could shift between man and serpent, because we don't know. As you know already, if you came to the latest stream, and if you the Zoroastrian stream, and if you don't worry, I can't explain these again. What happens is that we don't have much sources, and the contrast between the most ancient text and the most recent text is amazingly enormous. So yeah, we, on the one hand, we're talking about text that says no, Azhi Dahāka is for sure a serpent, as in a proper Serpent-Demon, and all the texts are describing him as a man, as a human, or at least in human shape. So we don't know. I think that is one of the magical mysteries about this creature, that I don't know if we ever will just unravel the mystery. I'm quite content with us being the point where we are, because I want to imagine, I lean towards the inclination, I incline myself to think that it was a serpent, but seeing how it evolved to become Dahāka in the Book of Kings, which is the Demon King, I'm liking that theory too. I can see the evolution through time, because again, remember, we're talking about a religion that has thousands of years, and some of the myths vary and change quite a lot, especially they're influences by neighboring cultures. So yeah, the thing is, snakes play a very they're bad omen creatures, and they are always allocated in the side of darkness, at least in Iranian mythology. Don't get me wrong, I know of the importance of the serpent in Mesopotamian mythology, but this is not Mesopotamian tradition, this is Iranian tradition, and these vipers, these serpents are dangerous, they're poisonous, and they're aggressive. So come on, can you say, please, this is a demon, this is a demon on earth. I love it. He's like Voldemort, human but with a strong snake vibe. I guess it's been 100 years at least since I last read Harry Potter, and I do not remember, but I'm taking your, yeah, I'm going with you, Viragot. You are very smart girl, you know better than me. So we have various tales existing around the figure of Azhi Dahāka, and not all of them are so well known. And the most famous is the one that includes Fereydun. Does that sound familiar? But it is important to highlight, before, as I just did, that there is two periods for the Serpent-Demon. The first period would correspond to the time when the Avestan texts were written, when the figure of Azhi Dahāka was considered more snake than human, as a colossal monster who devastated everything in its path by order of its creator, the dark spirit Angra Mainyu. What is that, guys? That guy is gonna burn down the whole world, and we'll still be discussing its essence. Come on, let's just fight it. Yeah, I agree with that. I don't want to fight it. I mean, I agree with here, the dyslexia. Isn't Nagini derived from Persian? Could be. I'm not familiar. I cannot think of that name at the top of my head, but yeah, I will have a look afterwards. The thing is, it sounds familiar somehow. I'll have a deeper look on that. So, yeah, we have two moments in Azhi Dahāka text, and the most ancient refers to when Azhi Dahāka was considered to be more a serpent than a human. And what reference we have? Well, first of all, we have the Zamyad Yasht, which is a hymn to the earth. And this narrates the story of how Azhi Dahāka and one of its demonic brothers, which name is transliterated as Spitiuda, they confronted the sacred fire Athar, which is Ayazata, for seizing the far, which is the glory that emerged from the body of Yima once Spitiuda had sawed him in twain. Like, basically, okay, let me just do a quick recap for you. What just happened is we have two Azhis here. We have Azhi Dahāka and Azhi Spitiuda, which are two serpent demons. And Spitiuda has just, you know, sawed Yima in two, like literally. Like, Yima is the Avestan antecedent for Jamshid, and basically the serpent demon just cuts Yima in half, like that's what happened. And as a result of that death, a lot of Asha, which is purity, and this glory that was protecting Yima, comes out of his body, and the two serpent demons want to grab it and get it for themselves. But here comes the sacred fire, Athar, to say, no, I'm having none of them, I am taking the fire with me, and they fight. The thing is, this glory, this fire, could not be that forcibly seized. So Ahura Mazda and his Yazatas kind of, they held the fire with some darts into a physical place, and so did Angra Mainyu with his Daivas, one of them being Azhi Dahāka. And so you could need to imagine this kind of, yeah, it's a force. I mean, the fire, the glory, it's a force, but a force that cannot be seized that easily. So what they did is they tied, they just imagine a rope, and each of them, this is the side of the light, this is the side of darkness, each of them has one side, and it's pulling and trying to make the fire still. And then just the Yazata that came to pick it up, the approach to pick it up, was Athar, which is the fire, the sacred fire. But then Azhi Dahāka threw himself on his back, threatening him with eating it raw, basically, if he dared to touch the fire. And then Athar took back his hands, affrighted, and then this is after, because he was scared, is the serpent demon. This time is Azhi Dahāka, the one who approaches and opens its jaws to swallow the fire entirely. However, Athar, which is, as I said, the most powerful Yazata of the whole pantheon, take that Mitra, Athar does not startle and threatens the creature by blazing up its jaws in flames and takes another step. This is like this kind of competition to see these this exchange of power and insults to see which one comes closer. And then finally what happens is that the side of the light, of course, takes the fire, and they bring it to the ocean, where the ocean, the son of the waters, which is another deity, takes care of it and puts this glory in the bottom of the waters, so creation could develop and the glory could be dispersed through the world. That is the main tale we have about Azhi Dahāka, and I think it's time for another painting. Just look at this cutie. This is a black horned viper. Isn't it cute? Isn't it cute? I am dying. Look at those eyes. Isn't that the Nagini thingy, the serpent that goes with Voldemort in Harry Potter? Is that? Maybe you said that in the chat. Like, I know the Naga from India as half her. I know the Nagas from the Indian mythology as half serpent, half human creatures. The female one is also called Nagini. You can find lots of interesting depictions of them at Hindu and Buddhist temples. She is in fact correct. With anything related to Asian mythology and Asian art, just go to Typhoon. She knows everything, basically. She's a whole encyclopedia of art history. Believe me, she knows quite a lot. So yeah, it's a very nice team. So this is one of the tales that we have, but the other tale is a tale of the hero Thrattaona and Fereidun, which was evolved through time with the name Fereidun, which is the name that finally made it onto the Book of Kings. But we're gonna dive into it a little bit later. So now we are gonna see, we already saw a tale from the Avestan text. Now we're gonna see a tale of the so-called post-Avestan sources written in Pahlavi. And here, the name of Azhi Dahāka is modified to Dahog and occasionally to Zahok. And at the same time, his serpent shape leads to more human appearance, although he has the same demonic nature. Do not be fooled, he's still very powerful. And these texts present Dahog as the origin of the bad religion, calling him to be immoral, blemished, unrighteous, contemplating injury, harmful and devastating. He just basically destroys everything surrounding him, and he's accused of the corruption of the earth and the corruption of his own subjects, and even of the destruction of the world itself. And this is one of the interesting bits of this. In the Pahlavi text, it is specified that Dahog was an Arab. Do you remember when we were reading the Book of Kings that I mentioned that the Arabs normally are not very well treated in the Shahnameh because of cultural differences at the time the book was written? So the Pahlavi text already mentioned that one of the worst things about Dahak was that he was an Arab, which is super interesting, super interesting. You know, a lot of the weird iconographical stuff. You go, Typhoon, I'm rooting for you. So yeah. One of the texts that we have is the Dodestan I Demig that presents Azhi Dahāka as one of the 7 worst sinners of creation. The ones really close to Angra Mainyu, which is, again, the dark spirit. In addition, it is said that he was the first one releasing and loading the art of sorcery, which is something that's going to stick with his character through time. It is quite interesting that these texts provide also Dahāka with a monstrous devilish mother, which is called Wadag. This character did not make it into the Shahnameh, and she is accused of practicing incestuous adultery with her own son while her husband was still alive. Chera! Why? And she's also the creator of a whoredom and the highest sinner among women, which makes sense because if the son is the highest sinner among men, she is the highest sinner among women. So basically, yeah. So this is where the tale takes. This is we have more information about the tale of Fereidun, because here is the Pahlavi text that inserts Dahog in the dynasty of the Pishdadian, and that is that is family. I know, right? the thing is, these Pahlavi texts, when they do in the dynastic lineage, they situate Dahog among the Pishdadian, which is the dynasty, the ruling dynasty, and they place Dahog as the heir of Jamshid and the predecessor of Fereidun, which is a little bit fucked up, taking under account that he's a demon sorcerer king. But yeah. So now we are gonna move to the meat of Thrattaona, which is a dragon smithing hero and my personal favorite and most probably the best known tale about Azhi Dahāka. So there is something to deal with confining people in the mountains, some killing. So yeah, the hero's name has been modified along history, evolving to the most known by Iranian folklore. We have from Thrattaona it transformed into Fereidun, and the etymology suggested for this name, for this change, says that it could have its origins once more in India, and this character would be named after the Vedic god Trita and the Avestan Thrita associated with the winds and the thunder. Although Thrita never slayed dragons in Vedic texts, he performs great deeds, but that is not enough to establish their connection, so we don't know where the name Threotaona comes from. No idea. And the Avestan texts contain many references to the victory of Threotaona upon the Serpent-Demon Azhi Dahāka. None of them are really detailed, but they are there. And what does that mean? That means the tale was very well known and deemed very important among the Zoroastrian mythology. Because if we have so many mentions, if people was paying so much attention to this tale, there must be a reason for it. So, we have some hymns to the waters and some hymns to the Hom, which is the Haoma, the sacred plant. And yeah, the same myth could, if we cherry pick all the tiny bits that we have, all the tiny references that we have of the same myth, more or less the same story is just sorts out. But the oh, what was that? I didn't see that. Beatriz 08, thank you so much for the follow. I'm much appreciated. So yeah, one of the versions of this tale narrates how Azhi Dahāka worshipped two divinities, because yes, Azhi Dahāka as a serpent worshipped the Yazatas too. One of them was Anahita from the waters, which is the Yazata of the waters, and the other one was Vayubhata, which is the Yazata of the winds. And Azhi Dahāka went towards them and offered a sacrifice of 100 male horses, 1,000 oxen, and 10,000 lambs, which is, if you ask me, a lot of animals. So this is how big and how exaggerated Azhi Dahāka was. How is this important? Remember, numbers in mythology are not to be taken literally. Numbers in mythology are symbols of things. It's Spanish in Thursday. Thank you, Iragat. But yeah, do Beatriz, if that was your question, I do speak Spanish. Because, in fact, I am Spanish y por eso es que yo puedo hablar español con fluidez. Who's driving? Nobody's driving. Jesus, take the wheel. Do you know that song? So, as I was saying, numbers in mythology are symbolic. And the fact that they go from 100 to 1,000 to 10,000 is just a way of expressing wealth, of expressing big proportions, and of expressing importance. So, Azhi Dahāka made his sacrifice, and in return he asked for enough power to leave the 7 climates empty of mankind and eradicate humankind once and for all. Basically, Azhi Dahāka asked the Yazatas of waters and wind for the power to bring extinction of humankind. What a misanthropy here! So, of course, the Yazatas remained deaf to his prayer. Nevertheless, there was a young boy, his name was Threotaona, and he made the same sacrifice, asking for the strength and the courage to march against the Serpent-Demon. And not only the Yazatas granted him what he demanded, but also tasked him with the liberation of the 2 wives of Yima that the beast held as prisoners, and who were told to be the women the most unsurpassed beauty of all creation. And as happens with the Book of Kings 2, the versions state that they could have been his daughters as well. So this is one version of it, which is the version that finally made it onto the Book of Kings, so the Shahnameh, where Feridun goes against a hog that wants to eradicate humankind, basically. Well, seems like he got it this year. I mean, as far as we're concerned, Azhi Dahāka is still alive. We'll get there in a second. So another version of the myth recounts how the Far, the glory, entered the body of Threotaona when he was still in the womb of his mom. So he gained the strength to be able to go and search for Azhi Dahāka and to vanquish him. These texts describe how the young hero struck the beast with his club upon the shoulder and the neck, the neck and the skull, like just over here, and then he killed Azhi Dahāka. And afterwards he took up his sword and hewed it 3 times, caused the body of the Serpent-Demon to sprout like a black venomous liquid, along with many noxious creatures. So Tretaona just sliced the body of the serpent in 3 parts, and this kind of venomous poison just like sprouted from it with a lot of, it was not just blood, it was poison, venom, and creatures. Like blah, 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 blah. This is disgusting. And then Ahura Mazda stopped him, saying like, stop slicing, stop chopping this serpent, look what you're doing. Which, by the way, reminds me a lot of the scene in Hercules, you know, where Phil is shouting at Hercules to stop cutting off the heads of the Hydra. That is exactly the scene that comes to my mind every time I read these this myth. Relatable? I have no idea. I love Hercules. Completely inaccurate, but lovely after all. I have a I had a childhood one day. So the thing is, Ahura Mazda stops Tretaona, saying, stop, you're going to just fill my creation with these noxious creatures. Just stop. And this is very close to a lot of creation myths, where the monster is sliced in many parts, and these parts originate the elements of the world. And this might be a reference on how the primal creations of the agents of the evil spirit could have come to the earth. Hercules is the best film ever made. Fight me. I'm perfectly okay with you. I can go with you. I disagree. Ooh. Wait. Prince of Egypt. I'm gonna go with The Nightmare Before Christmas. No regrets here. Where was I? Oh yeah, so Feridun stops chopping the serpent. Then Azhi Dahāka is blinded and chained with the most awful fetters and confined in the inside of Mount Damavand, the sacred mountain that before was called Haraburuzaiti, which I just mentioned. But if you forgot, because it's a name odd as sin, that is perfectly okay. The serpent did not die, and he was doomed to suffer the most terrible punishments. Thus, Azhi Dahāka did not perish, but stayed alive in the womb of the mountain. However, his confinement won't last eternal, as the day of renovation, which is the end of times in Zoroastrian religion, don't worry, we'll talk about cosmology some other time. In that day, during the millennium of Usherdama, which is a mysterious character that will appear in the world, the Serpent-Demon will break free. I want to break free. Or for more younger audience, we're breaking free, we're soaring, flying. There's no star in heaven that we can reach. Oh my god, the memories. So the demon will break his chains and sprout from the ground, devouring 1/3 of creation. Easy. And then Ahura Mazda will be required to bring back the soul of the dragon slayers, who will vanquish the terror of Azhi Dahāka once and for all. Ain't this an epic tale? Ain't this an epic tale? Don't you think? I'm just in awe. And to finish up, I wanted to bring you some curiosities about Azhi Dahāka, because you may have come across him, but you don't know. For example, in the Japanese saga Final Fantasy, there's a final boss with the name of Azhi Dahāka for the Final Fantasy X2, the 10-2, which is from 2003, and it's for PlayStation 2. The monster is a dragon-like creature with wings and 2 scaly prominent horns out of his neck. I wanted to bring a picture, but I had a terribly busy Monday, so I couldn't my bad, but if you type that on Google, if you put Final Fantasy Azhi Dahāka, I'm pretty sure it's gonna show up. And what else? Ooh, also there's a Japanese video game called Suikoden 5 from 2006 for PlayStation 2, and there appears a ship with the name of Dahāka, casually featuring 3 dragon or sea serpent heads as a figurehead. And in the collectible Japanese card game Future Card Buddy Fight from 2014, also brought into animation for TV, there's a card and a character called Azhi Dahāka as the partner of the main antagonist, and he's also called the demonic dragon. This is literally my favorite PS2 game, don't even care. Is that Final Fantasy? Because I'm a big fan of Final Fantasy 2. Also, I wanted to bring you another, this pal over there, it's called a spider tail horned viper. It is a family of the horned viper, but if you see, do you see that tiny bulb sprouting from its tail? This looks like an insect. So, yeah, Final Fantasy X too. You go, Nancy. It is a lovely game. So what it is, this creature preys, tricking the birds. Basically, it buries itself in under the sand and lays the tip of its tail on top of a rock or on top of the sand, and it looks like an insect. It looks like a spider from afar. Then birds will be tricked and come to pick it up, and the moment the bird lands, the serpent jumps on it, kills, I don't know if it instantly kills the birds, but definitely bites the birds in whatever it can get and eats them. Aren't you in love? I am bloody in love. Here I have a close-up from here. Look at this tiny bastard. I just love this picture so much, no kidding. Isn't it super cute? Isn't it the cutest creature you've seen in your life? I love it so much. But yeah, all the examples I used are natural of either some Iranian lands from the Iranian plateau, or from the Iranian plateau, or the Arabian Peninsula. And why do I bring them here? Because sometimes we forget that mythology is based on natural creatures, animals that we can't find in the wilderness. In fact, though, you know, tracing back mythological tropes is very difficult and part of my job. Hello. Yeah, because I happen to be a mythologist. Fun times. Yeah, it's pretty poopy eyes. But if you look at these creatures, or even, I'm just gonna put that picture up again, I don't care, this is my stream. If you look at these creatures, this exists in nature. This is a real animal, and it is very scary, and from what I gathered, it is very, very aggressive. So you can't imagine, you can actually, oh, well, what happened there? Indescriptible. Indescriptible. Thank you for the follow. So what happened here is that I think it's very interesting seeing how real creatures and real animals that represented a threat for communities and a threat for societies, they were demonized and they were turned into these magnificent beasts that occupied nightmares and folk tales. To me, that is powerful. And the fact that we preserve the tale of Azhi Dahāka in the shape of Zahak in the Book of Kings once more portrays how important the figure of Azhi Dahāka actually was, and the tale of Azhi Dahāka being defeated, it was a turning point in Iranian mythology, because if not, why would Ferdowsi bother? Out of all the legends that we preserve in Zoroastrianism, why would he bother if it was not that relevant? That is my question. That is my moral of the story. This story didn't have moral, but you know what I mean. And why is that? Why would the tale of a hero slaying a serpent be so important? Well, one of the explanations is that in the past, in the Western sources, killing serpents, beheading serpents has a very close connection to fertility and to kind of granting the fertility of the land. By killing a monster, you are giving warranty for future crops to grow. And that is the job of all the beneficent scholars. I haven't reached that far, but that could be one of the reasons. What if he just like it personally? That could be too. But remember, the Shahnameh is not a creation of Ferdowsi's mind. The Shahnameh is a product. He was not original. He was translating some of the sources, and he was writing what he was told to write. So could be, but not in this case. So yeah, all the reason is because these cycle, if you read or listened or joined the streams for the Book of Kings, you would get familiar of how the cycle of Sahag represents quite well the hero's journey by Joseph Campbell. Here and everywhere, Master Campbell. The hero's journey and the conquest and defeat of evil from light. You know, all is lost, the earth is consumed, darkness is just lurking in every corner, and then light comes back stronger than ever, strikes as hard as it can get, because in the end, everything is doomed to surrender to light. What is that indescriptible? Ollie, if there are draconic figures linked to evil, why was a snake the symbol for healing? Apparently, my friends could answer better to these questions, but I think it's because of his connection with Asclepius, the god of healing. Is Asclepius a god or a demigod? I am not from Greek or Roman mythology. I did from Iranian studies, but yeah, I am calling here Viragoat, my god kids from La Classico. They got not here today, unfortunately, but I think it was something to do with Asclepius and the venom of the serpent used for medical purposes as an antidote for things. But yeah. That is from a different mythology entirely. That belongs to the Greek or Roman heritage, and what we're dealing here with is Iranian heritage and Zoroastrian heritage in the shape of the Serpent-Demon. So not the same, not the same. In Greek mythology, snakes have both natures, really good or really bad. Have I actually got the point of the Asclepius and the this stuff of him? Doesn't Hermes' stuff has snakes too? I have no idea. I don't remember, because again, I am from Iranian studies. I don't know by heart the Greek Roman stuff, which is lovely, but I work with other stuff. So yeah, as I was saying, sorry, we could see the cycle of Azhi, Dahāka, and the cycle of Sahag being a perfect representation of light overcoming evil, and setting an example, setting a moral of the story, as in, like, if you are on the light side, good for you, you're gonna rise victorious. You'd better be on the light side, because if you dare, or if you just want to be on the dark side, you might be triumphant for a while, but just for a while, because everything is brief and futile, and in the end, light and righteousness are gonna rise victorious, because that is the right thing to do, and that is the natural order of things, again, according to the Shahnameh and according to the ancient text. So, and yeah, and that is my stream. That is my take. This is how far we're gonna get here. Thank you so much, Butcher, for joining me. It's been my great pleasure. I was dying to do a stream only on the figure of Azhi, Dahāka, and fortunately, if I am being fortunately for me, I would have taught you something, and I would discover you something new. And Asclepius is technically a demigod, but he had cult as a proper god. I wonder something like that, yeah. But yeah, this is how far. This is it. This is the end, my only friend. The end. Thank you so much for joining and tuning in with me today. And yeah, thank you so much to all the people who's clicked follow on the channel. Thank you so much to all the people who subscribe to the channel. You help me greatly. If this is the first time you come across this channel, hello, this is Las Plumas de Simur and I am Plumas, your host. Here we talk about mythology. As you could see, we talk about science, we talk about history, we talk about art, loads of art, and we are doing so based on two major pillars, which are Mesopotamia and Iran. It's my greatest pleasure to have you here, and I invite you to go have a look on my social media. You can find me at Las Plumas de Simur on Instagram and on Twitter, and if you want, take it on my Patreon, because yes, we are on Patreon. And yeah, thank you so much guys for joining in. I hope I explained myself. Is there any more questions you'd like to ask? Because I know these topics so well that sometimes I fail to communicate it because I am taking things for granted. But how I explained myself? Could you say now? For people wondering about all the streams, here's a Twitter thread. Viragoat, kisses to you. Yeah, because she's filling up for Aaron, which is normally my secretary, but Aaron cannot join us today, so thank you so much. It's been really interesting, thank you, and thanks to the chat for the contributions. My chat, but chat, let me tell you something. I have the greatest community in the whole Twitch. I do. My bacha here are amazing. They are amazing. You're so supportive. I love having this interaction with you, because in discussion, this is not a masterclass, this is not a lecture. In discussion is where we grow and we thrive together, and I am living for that. I am so happy about that. Grace, thank you so much, Typhoon. If you want to join again, remember the streams are normally in English on Monday and in Spanish on Thursday. So yeah, just pay attention, have a look at my social media. If love this stream, thank you so much, Nana. Nancy. Ooh, Kiwi has a question. Begu bache, begu. Boro be pors. Just showing off a little Persian that I can speak. I will get there one day. You said the demon had weird number of eyes. Right, yeah. Yes. So the description is very convoluted, the description of Azhi Dahāka. So it says basically that it had 3 heads, 3 jaws, and 6 eyes. But if you actually do the math for that, that means that there was 3 heads, and each head had 1 jaw, and each head had 2 eyes. The wolf demon also has an odd number of eyes, right? Is that important? I actually don't know, because there's not my that is not, I don't know about the wolf demon yet, because it's part of my research, but it's I don't know if the odd number is important, because again, the wolf creature, Kiwi is talking about another creature, a Zoroastrian monster, which is the wolf demon, or that is how it's been translated, that has 3 eyes. That is a particularity. I don't know right now, the top of my head. I cannot recall if that would be significant. Maybe it would be. I will have a better look at it and come back with that, because that is a very difficult question, a great one, but difficult, in the sense that a lot of study would be required to answer properly. So yeah, sorry, I cannot be much helpful on that, very sorry, but I will have a look. I will have a look into that. So yeah, if you don't have any more questions, again, thank you so much for joining me. I had the greatest time. Oh, also, I asked on my Patreon, I asked on my Twitter if you guys would like to see an English stream on English, like in English language, and the poll turned out negative. So apparently my English speaking audience is not that interested in having an English spoken Halloween special. However, I, under consideration and out of consideration for the people who vote yes, I'm gonna prepare something for Halloween, possibly in the shape of a thread on Twitter. So I recommend you stay tuned if you want to catch that. What is that? I'm about to rush to tell a friend that is a great fan that Monday. I'm about to rush to tell a friend that is a great fan that about Final Fantasy X2 and overall I could get everything you said. So given I have no background in mythology, you've been great. You are the loveliest creature in the entire planet, and this person, these lovely Christmas adornment has a very similar taste in music as I do, because it just a random post like about one of the greatest songs ever composed by Nightwish, which is The Greatest Show on Earth. That is not from The Greatest Showman. Do not mistake The Greatest Show on Earth with The Greatest Showman. I beg you, do that for me. But yeah, The Greatest Show on Earth. I'm gonna stop rambling now and ask the people who voted yes on Twitter who they are, in my opinion. What? So you can mention them in the thread. Oh, okay. I see what you do. I will try to watch the Spanish streams. I might pick up a few words here and there. You are so adorable, Nancy. What did I do to deserve you, Butcher? I can mention them in the thread. That is actually a good show. Thank you so much, Kiwi. I didn't get the first part. So yeah, I'm going to stop rambling and I'm going to leave you to... I'm going to let you go your way. You go your way, my love. I am a jukebox. I sing constantly. Bear with me. Go your way, my love. So, thank you so much for joining and tuning in with me. I hope you have a fantastic week. I'm sending my Iranian mythological demonic essence to you for good vibes, and I will see you, if you want, I will see you next Monday or next Thursday, or I will see you on Patreon, or I will see you on Twitter, on Instagram, anything you do. And yeah, as always, remember, create, explore and have fun. I will see you next time. Khudafiz.